Hello guys, it's Ryan Ho back with another video. Today I want to talk about the best measuring amplifier, speaker amplifier, which is the LA90 by Topping. And this actually scored 120, which is the highest ranked and highest measured score of a speaker amplifier on ASR. The closest one scored 113. And the one that scored the closest actually is itself, its prior version. So there really isn't much other amplifiers out there that actually score as high as the Topping does. So today I was curious, does that mean it sounds the best amplifier you've ever heard? So I'm doing a comparison of this to a Krell amplifier, and that's actually $3,000 versus this one is only $800. So it is a little bit of unfair comparison. However, it kind of shows us, how good it is and how it performs against something much more pricier, especially if it, scores the best, right? Now, my dad actually helped me with this review because he actually recommended this to me. My dad's also an audiophile, and he saw how good this kind of measured, so he really wanted to hear how good it sounded, and I was also very curious as well. So we'll definitely have two opinions on this. And yeah, let's kind of delve into the details of this amplifier, right? So the cool thing about this is it actually puts out 120 watts, but you can also use this as kind of a monoblock mode, and you can actually put, two of them. So one playing the left and one playing the right channel, and you can get even more power out of them and better channel separation. And something that's kind of cool is that you don't have to use it monoblock, but it's an option. So you can use this for now if you bought one, and then later if you want to upgrade, you can get the second one and monoblock them, which is a really cool feature. Now this obviously has a volume dial in the front, so you can actually control the volume, but you can also just bypass that and just run it as like a power amp at full power if you want to as well. So we actually plugged it into the recommended DAC, the D90LE, into the amplifier. And then we had it driving a speaker, so we have the Revel M22. So those are pretty nice speakers, and yeah, we can definitely kind of hear all the detail and performance of this amplifier. So I want to thank APOS Audio for sending out the LA90. If you guys are interested in any of the products over here, you guys should definitely head over to APOS Audio. They have a 2-year warranty, and yeah. All right, so quick rundown of the features. Essentially you have the power on and off. You can change the volume up here, and then if you click this, you can change through your inputs. So I have mine plugged into input 3 for now. The actual build of this is also all aluminum, so it's really just a nice belt thing. It's also kind of optimized for kind of airflow if it gets really hot. Honestly, mine's on right now and I can barely feel the heat, but I'm also not really pushing that big of a speaker, but yeah. So in the back we have the input, so it takes XLR or you can take 6.35. We also have the speaker connectors. As you can see, I have them already plugged in right now. And then we have the power in, and then over here on the bottom right, you can actually update the firmware with the USB-C over here. Then we have the volume or bypass. So if you put bypass, it ignores the volume dial in the front. Then you can do it stereo or mono, so you can monoblock it with that option. And then you have the low and high gain. So I'm using it on high gain right now. So how does this sound? So when I was comparing this to the Krell S150M, we're kind of able to pick out differences. And I would definitely say the Topping has what people call a neutral type of sound. You really have that bass, you got the mid-range, and then you got the treble. It doesn't seem to emphasize any type of sound signature. It's perfectly neutral. Honestly, you can hear a lot of the details and all the details as well. However, the difference between this and the Krell was the Krell definitely seemed to be emphasizing the different tones and the different extremes. So for example, I noticed on the Krell, it had much more bass. It seems like it emphasized the bass and it had more dynamics. So it kind of hit a little harder than this. Obviously, like I said, it's 3 times more expensive, and it's a fully Class A amplifier that really doesn't have all the kind of features this has. It just runs kind of 100% all the time. It sounded a little bit more neutral to the tone. Then the second thing I noticed a lot was also the treble. So the treble of this sounds as well. It doesn't sound like it's overemphasized, underemphasized. It's exactly how you expect it. However, the Krell seems to be a lot more brighter sounding than this sound. And you can kind of hear a lot more air with that amplifier versus the topping. So I can definitely see the difference in tuning of these two amplifiers. So then it kind of leads to the question of like, which one do you prefer? Obviously, if you like a lot of bass, a little bit more slam, the Krell is a little bit more kind of fun sounding, right? But then the treble was the interesting part where, this was not like overly airy as the Krell was. And I think it has to do with like kind of the pairing. Because if you think about the D90 LE, which is the DAC, sounds bright. So the amp they kind of pair with it doesn't seem to accentuate that. And I think it pairs really well. Versus when you put a very kind of like airy type of DAC with an airy amplifier, it almost feels like the whole sound ends up being almost overly airy, if that makes any sense. And that's kind of the feeling I got with the pairing with the Krell. So I think some people might actually prefer the less kind of overly airy sound of the kind of topping and a little bit more neutral and more true. I feel like it pairs better with its kind of DAC that it comes with. So I think they did do a good job at like tuning both the DAC and the amp together to make it a more kind of neutral type of sound. Now, honestly, like the other thing I noticed about this is the kind of separation. The separation of this is actually pretty good, but I can only imagine that if you monoblock these, they would probably sound even better because, in comparison to the monoblock setup, it did have better left and right separation. So I feel like because this has the ability to do that, I think people should definitely kind of use that because I think it's a really cool feature that it has. And definitely if you want to get, the ultimate sound, I would definitely recommend you to monoblock these as well. So the question is the best measuring amplifier the best amplifier in the world? Probably not, because I think there's definitely people who are going to expect and want a more kind of punchier type of sound, a little bit more dynamic in the bass. However, this one honestly presents the information, everything you want really, really well. I think it has a much more kind of neutral type of bass response, but it's still satisfying. And I do think for its price, it sounds really good. So in the end, in my conclusion, I definitely recommend this amplifier. I think this amplifier sounds really, really good. I think some people who are looking for more expensive, punchier stuff, maybe we'll have to go to a higher price point, but if you're just looking for really, really solid, good sound, this thing definitely is a high recommendation from me. Anyways, I hope this really helped you guys decide which kind of amplifier you're looking for. And, please like and subscribe down below. Helps my videos out. I definitely have other type of videos that you guys should definitely check out with different DACs, different amplifiers. So you guys should definitely check those out. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.